I'd like to tell you a bit about JSTOR, one of the databases I've found very helpful for researching American Indian boarding schools. JSTOR is a shared digital library with access to more than 2,000 academic journals going back to the first volume ever published. Research is largely from the social sciences and humanities, which is right in line with our studies, and the length of the record corresponds well to the historical nature of our topic. I'm going to begin here on the UNCG Library homepage. I'll navigate to the Databases page. JSTOR is one of the top databases, so you can access it right here. Alright, you can see here that I am already logged in to the UNCG library, so our access to JSTOR is good to go. I'm going to begin with an advanced search, which is generally recommended for all of your research databases. You'll notice that several of the tips that I'm going to give about JSTOR are also applicable to other research databases. I'm going to begin with my search terms, which are American Indian and boarding school. Now, a few things about this search. You'll see that I have put quotation marks around American Indian and around boarding school. That is so that when I search, those words stay together. I don't want to find any results about other types of Americans or other types of schools. It needs to be just like this. Also, you can use the search field to narrow your search. You can choose any of these. I usually stick with full text for my first couple of searches to give the broadest results. Also about the search operators, you can choose and, or not. I feel like those first three are pretty self-explanatory, but let me talk a little bit about the near 5, 10, or 25. If I selected this search operator, then I would be looking for the words American Indian to appear within 5 words of the words boarding school. So that search can be helpful in some cases, but for this particular one, I'm just going to go back to and. Also, if I had a third search term, I could also click Add Field and search for add another one here. I have this box checked to include only content I can access. That is so that I know I will be able to interact with any of the results that I find. Further down are different ways to narrow our search, which we'll come back to in just a minute. So you can see we found quite a few results with this basic search, 1,618. I'm going to give you some hints about how we can narrow that down, but first I'm going to tell you a little bit more about what we're looking at here. JSTOR gives you these tabs for journals, books, and pamphlets, which automatically narrow it a bit. So you can see most of the results we found, 1,537, were journals, 81 were books, and in this particular case, we did not find any pamphlets. The research is automatically sorted by relevance, but you could choose to sort it by newest or oldest material first. Just out of curiosity, let's take a look at what the oldest research we found is. And you can see we found stuff from the late 1800s and early 1900s. I think that's pretty cool. Not sure how relevant some of them are. We would have to review the articles to see that, but still pretty cool that we can find such old information here, especially since this was around the time that American Indian boarding schools were getting started. Okay, as I said, we're going to want to narrow these results because this is just too many for us to go through. So I'm going to click Modify Search. And I'm going to select only articles. If I had a particular date range I was interested in, I could enter it here in this format, or if I had a language preference. Although I feel like most of the research on this topic, if not all, is going to be in English since it is very concerned with the United States. If there was a particular publication title or ISBN I wanted, I could enter them here. And finally, there's this journal filter, which narrows by discipline. Since there is one for American Indian Studies, I'm going to select it and rerun the search. So you can see now we're down to 228 search results. Take a look and see what catches my eye. I've really been enjoying these first-person narratives, so this one speaks to me. I'm going to click right into the title to get more information about it, but if I was interested in the writer, then I could click her name instead. So right off, I get some good information about who wrote the article, where it was published, when it was published, and by whom. I also see this stable URL, which I could copy and paste into another document to make sure that I'm able to get back to this particular page. If I scroll down a bit further, I'm actually able to interact with the article right here within the database. I can navigate using these arrows and read the whole thing here. Or instead, I could download the PDF to my computer. There's also a handy Cite This Item button, which I love. It saves a lot of time. Just make sure to double check the formatting before you finish up. If I wanted to get more information about this journal, Studies in American Indian Literatures, I could click Journal Info, and it gives me a description, the years of coverage, and also some subject keywords. If I wanted to email this article or share it on social media, I have buttons for that here. Finally, if I wanted to take a look at the references that Diane Lowe cites in this article, I can check out the Works Cited page here. That concludes my Intro to JSTOR. If you need help with this or any of the other resources that I provided in this guide, please feel free to contact me or the help desk at UNCG.